Okay, so I thought I'd make a quick video on how I might approach building speed with some fast guitar playing, okay? So I'm going to go through the 7 steps and a couple of things you want to make note of. So the first thing is going to be playing short bursts combined with longer bursts, okay? So here's the example of what I'm going to do. And you could see there that I sort of played 3 short bursts and then 1 longer burst that included like 3 combined, okay? Now the next thing is we're going to be playing first. In order to build speed, you're going to play with your fretting hand only, okay? And that's going to be a ghosting, basically, is what I'm going to call it, okay? So only fretting hand, because you're not going to squeeze, okay? You're just going to tap. Okay, and you can see that I was just tapping there. I wasn't even squeezing, and I have my picking hand basically like across the strings like this, so I don't hear anything. Now it's actually it's important to know that it doesn't really matter what I'm doing with my picking hand, okay? I know you can't see it, but it doesn't actually matter, okay? It's just basically the strategy, the speed building strategy that's more important, okay? So that's step 1 is going to be playing short burst combined, or sorry, step 2, which is going to be the fretting hand only, and that's ghosted without squeezing or anything, okay? The next thing you want to do is the picking hand only, which is muted, okay? And so you're just going to hold the strings here and you're just going to pick. And you can see it was just completely muted. I'm just doing this motion with my hand. I'm not really doing, you know, anything too crazy. So I'm muting the strings and I'm just feeling how it feels to play at that slower speed. Now, I'm going to talk about each thing that you're going to want to do at each one of these stages in just a second, but we're going to move to the next thing, which is going to be playing with both hands combined with a muting. Okay, so you're not going to be squeezing it at all yet. You're just going to play like this, basically. You're not really hearing the notes, right? Not squeezing at all. I'm just basically just really gently tapping and very gently using my pick to play the notes, okay? But I'm not actually playing. I'm just basically like pretending that I'm playing in a sense. The next thing we're going to do is play with the picking hand only, but using open strings. So you're just going to take off your hand and you're just going to pick. I know it just kind of sounds like noise right now, but I'll play it a little slower. Okay, so you can see I was just basically playing with the pick, open strings only. Next, I'm going to actually combine both hands and actually play the lick. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Now, all the while as I'm doing all of these steps, I'm actually paying attention to these 4 or 5 things, all right? The first thing is excess tension. I want to make sure, especially when I'm doing the muted version, that I have no extra tension in when I'm playing, okay? I want to make sure that you know that I'm not, the excess motion is being cut away, so I'm not like pulling my hands all away from the guitar, and like I'm very close, and you can see that I'm not really using that much you know, motion. I'm just, you know, very gently tapping everything. I'm using an excess, or cutting away all the excess tension and all the excess motion, and trying to like sort of figure out where exactly in my hands and my fingers do I feel the most tense, and just trying to relax those areas as I do this, okay? And trying to find all the motion that's a little extra and sort of cutting it down to sort of minimalized motion, all right? This happens in the picking hand as well. I want to look at when I'm doing the fretting hand only, I want to focus on the fretting hand. When I'm looking at the picking hand only, I'm actually going to stare at my picking hand and take a note. Again, if using excess tension in my arm or anything like that, I want to try to relax all the tension, and I want to try to look at all the motions that I'm doing with my picking hand and try to get those motions. I'm noticing what motions I'm doing, because a lot of the times when we don't look at our picks, we don't actually know what the pick is doing, so we're just sort of letting it go on autopilot. But we want to You want to notice what it's doing and try to cut away all the extra motions from there. And then I want to focus also on the mechanical feeling that it feels to play with this muted, relaxed state. I want to focus on the mechanical feeling. How does it actually feel like to play muted and to play relaxed like that? So I want to focus on that feeling and just know how it feels to play when playing in this state, and then try to match that feeling the same as when I'm playing normal. Okay, so it should feel pretty much very close as when I'm doing this. All that should feel very, very, very similar. Pretty much exactly the same as best as you can, okay? So you want to spend, maybe about 30 seconds in each one of these separate stages, and just kind of keep doing it over and 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 over again, and just try to focus on each one of these things one at a time, okay? So I'm going to show you how I might do this with an actual metronome. I'm actually going to start here at 80, all right? So it's pretty fast already. And I'm just going to sort of push it up to the next stage, so from 80 to 100, and then we'll call it a day, okay? Now the actual strategy you would use is start pretty low, maybe around like very, very low number on the metronome, and then just go up by 20, and then do it again there, and then go down by 10 and do it again there. So this actually takes 5 minutes. Every time you're going to move the metronome, you should stay on it for about 5 minutes or so. Just try to go through all these things. I'm going to try to do a little bit faster here. Again, sort of about like 15-20 seconds per stage. I should have been practicing this for a while. So I'm just going to go and start the metronome here at 80. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first step, which is going to be just doing fretting hand only, ghosted. Okay, now I'm going to move to picking hand only, but muted. Again, I'm just focusing on the excess tension. Anything that's too tense, I'm trying to relax it. Anything that's moving too much or too weirdly, making weird motions, I'm trying to get rid of those, okay? It happens to me too, okay? Maybe it's not as exaggerated, you can't really see it as much, but I can see it, I can feel it, that I'm making small motions that I really shouldn't be making, or playing a little bit too intensely. So I'm trying to cut those down. I'm also just focusing on the mechanical feeling that it feels to play. Okay, now I'm going to try to combine both of them together, but muted. Okay, that was just kind of muted playing. Now, I'm going to play with just the picking hand only with the open strings. Okay, now I'm going to play combined normally. And I'm just trying to make it feel exactly the same as when I was playing relaxed. Just try to make those two as equal as I can. Okay, now I'm going to switch this up to about 100 so you can see it a little bit at faster speed, and then we'll call it a day after that, okay? The next step would be to go to 90, but it'd be the exact same thing, okay? So it's short bursts with no squeezing. just so you know, I'm playing at 6 notes per click at 100, so that's 600. You know, I want to get up to 1,000, but you kind of just have to do what you can, right? Okay, so we're going to go to the picking hand only, ghosted, or muted, really. It's important to know that I'm actually looking at my picking hand, and again, thinking about the excess tension, excess motion, and the mechanical feeling that it feels to actually play very relaxed like this. Now I'm going to try to put them together, try to match the feeling. It should feel the exact same way as it did before. Okay, we're going to move to picking hand only. This is to actually just make sure that my picking is clean, okay? You can tell it's not quite clean. And also just to kind of get used to the sound of how it feels to play at this speed. Okay, now I'm going to try to just add in my fingers as I'm doing this. Right? You can tell I was sort of stopping and making sure that the sound actually completely died away, completely silent as soon as I stopped playing those in between the bursts. I was trying to make the silence completely stop dead. And again, I was trying to make the feeling feel exactly the same as when I was playing very relaxed with no squeezing at all, and the no sound version. I was trying to make that feel exactly the same way as when I was playing the real sound version. Okay, so we're just trying to sort of blend all these things together in order to boost your speed, okay? And so that's basically exactly what you want to do in order to build speed. It's pretty simple. Go ahead and follow this strategy, and hopefully you enjoyed this video.